不是病日。
Gladly. I'm game. Are we being invaded? Gladly. For the trees.
我压力好大哦，这组合。
Is there trouble? Making trails. Are we being invaded?
他的被动
Gladly.
不会发
For the trees. Gladly. I'm game. Gladly. For the trees. Gladly. Making trails. Gladly. I'm game. For the trees. Making trails. Gladly. I'm game. Making trails. I'm game. For the trees. I'm game. Aim dead set. Gladly. Making trails. I'm game. Gladly. Making trails. For the trees. Gladly. I'm game. For the trees. Making trails. For the trees. Making trails. Gladly. Making trails. I'm game. Making trails. Gladly. I'm game. For the trees.
干要被推烂了这组合。
Gladly. I'm game. Hi! Making trails. Gladly. Making trails. Are we being invaded? Hi! I'm game. Making trails. For the trees. Making trails. I'm game. Making trails. I'm game. For the trees. Gladly. The hunt is on. I'm game. Gladly. Making trails. For the trees. Making trails. I'm game. Making trails. I'm game. Making trails. Gladly. Making trails. For the trees. Making trails. For California.
3个射手了。
Ah, the great outdoors.
我们手都很短了。
Are we being invaded?
他没有买鞋子，怎么会这样子冲过去
？Gladly. Making trails. For the trees. Making trails. For the trees. I'm game. For the trees. Making trails. Gladly. Making trails. Gladly. For the trees. Gladly. For the trees. Gladly. Making trails. Gladly. I'm game. Making trails. I'm game. Making trails. Gladly. For the trees. I'm game. Gladly. I'm game. Gladly. I'm game. Gladly. Making trails. For the trees. For the trees. Gladly. I'm game. Making trails. For the trees. Making trails. I'm game. For the trees. Gladly. Making trails. Gladly. I'm game. Making trails. I'm game. Aim dead center.
关键满眼。
Making trails. Taste my spear. Gladly. Making trails. The hunt is on. Gladly. I'm game. Gladly. For the trees. Gladly. For the trees. Making trails. I'm game. Making trails. I'm game. Gladly. Making trails. For the trees. Are we being invaded? Making trails. For the trees. Making trails. Gladly. I'm game. For the trees. Making trails. I'm game. Making trails. Gladly. I'm game. Hi. For the trees. What is nature's call? Gladly. For the trees. Gladly. Making trails. For the trees. Gladly.
哎呦，我的队友，我靠，我有点不知道怎么说，我靠，
For the
这个
trees.
司马。
Gladly. Are we being invaded? Making trails. I'm game. Making trails. I'm game. Making trails. For the trees. Gladly. For the trees. Gladly. I'm game. For the trees. Taste my spear. I'm game. Gladly. For the trees. I'm game. For the trees. Gladly. Hi. I'm game. For the trees. I'm game. For the trees. Gladly. The hunt is on. Making trails. For the trees. Making trails. I'm game. Making trails. I'm game. Gladly. Making trails. Gladly. For the trees. Making trails. Gladly. Making trails. I'm game. Gladly. For the trees. I'm game. Making trails. Gladly. I'm game. For the trees. Making trails. Gladly. I'm game. Aim dead center. Making trails. For the trees. Making trails. I'm game. Gladly. Making trails. For the trees. Making trails. I'm game. For the trees. Gladly. I'm game. Gladly. Making trails. I'm game. Making trails. Gladly. Making trails. Gladly. I'm game. Gladly. For the trees. Making trails. For the trees. Gladly. Taste my spear. Making trails. Gladly. Making trails. For the trees. I'm game. Aim dead center. Making trails. For the trees. I'm game.
啊，直接走音乐。
I'm game. Making trails. Gladly. I'm game. Gladly. I'm game. Gladly. Taste my spear. For the trees. Gladly. For the trees. Making trails. I'm game. Are we being invaded? For the trees. Making trails. I'm game. For the trees. Making trails. For the trees. Gladly. Making trails. For the trees. Gladly. Making trails. For the trees. Making trails. Gladly. Making trails. Gladly. Making trails. Hi! I'm game. For the trees. Are we being invaded? I'm game. Making trails. For the trees. I'm game. Is there trouble?
你有点地招吗？
For the trees.
那招要先点啊。
哦，那招是要先点的。
What is
那招
nature's
释
call?
放距离可以到1200哎，然后环好像50%哎，
Hi!
然后可以当眼用。
好 ，OK。
Gladly. I'm game. Are we being invaded? For the trees. I'm game. Making trails. Gladly. Making trails. I'm game. Making trails. I'm game. Making trails. For the trees. Gladly. Making trails. Gladly. For the trees. I'm game. Gladly. For the trees. Gladly. Making trails. I'm game. For the trees. I'm game. Making trails. Gladly. For the trees. Making trails. Gladly. Aim dead center. Making trails. I'm game. Gladly. I'm game. Taste my spear. Making trails. Gladly. For the trees. Making trails. I'm game. Making trails. Gladly. Making trails. I'm game. Gladly. I'm game. Gladly. For the trees. I'm game. Gladly. I'm game. Gladly. For the trees. Gladly. Making trails. I'm game. Making trails. For the trees. Gladly. I'm game. Making trails. I'm game. For the trees. Gladly. Is there trouble?
我现在好卡，
Making
你们卡吗？
trails. Gladly. I'm game. Gladly. For the trees. I'm game. Making trails. Gladly. What is nature's call? I'm game.
啊，卡炸了！
Gladly. For the trees. Gladly. For the trees. I'm game. Gladly. I'm game.
哇，中国
Are
已
we
经打伤
being
了。
invaded? Making trails. For the
我好
trees.
卡呀！我靠！
Gladly. Making trails. For the trees.
我卡死了，好吧？
I'm game. Hi. For the trees. Gladly. I'm game. For the trees. Making trails. For the trees. I'm
我
game.
卡死了，我靠！我这次没操作，我靠！
Making trails. Gladly. The hunt is on. Taste my spear. For
我
the
没点，我
trees.
没点。
Aim dead center. Gladly. For the trees.
上路
trails.
都要杀人，
I'm
都
game.
点1、2档。
Taste my spear. Making trails. Gladly. For the trees. Gladly. The hunt is on. For the trees. I'm game. Gladly. For the trees. Making trails.
没死。
Ah, the great What is nature's call? Are we being invaded? Gladly.
More gold
Is there trouble? I'm making trails. What is nature's call? Ha! Gladly. I'm game. Gladly. For the trees. Gladly. For the trees. Gladly. For Kalimdor! For the trees. I'm game. For the trees. Gladly. For the trees. Making trails. Gladly. For the trees. Gladly. Ah, the great outdoors. For the trees. I'm game. Gladly. Making trails. Gladly. For the trees. Making trails. Gladly. I'm game. Making trails. I'm game. Making trails. I'm game. Making trails. For the trees. Gladly. Aim dead center. For the trees. Gladly. Making trails. Gladly. I'm game. For the trees. I'm game. Making trails. For the trees. I'm game. Making trails. Gladly. I'm game. Making trails. For the trees. Making trails. For the trees. Gladly. The hunt is on. For the trees. I'm game. Making trails. I'm game. Gladly. I'm game. Gladly. For the trees. I'm game. Gladly. For the trees. I'm game. Making trails. For the trees. Taste my spear. I'm game. For the trees. Making trails. For the trees. Gladly. For the trees. Making trails. Gladly. Making trails. Gladly. Making trails. I'm game. Making trails. Gladly. Making trails. For the trees. Aim dead center. I'm game. Making trails. For the trees. Is there trouble? Making trails. I'm game. Gladly. For the trees.
来，你接我啊！看见接死。
Gladly. Making trails. I'm game. Making trails. I'm game.
打谁啊？
Gladly.
没人。
Making trails. For the trees. I'm game. For the trees. Making trails. Gladly. The hunt is on. I'm game. For the trees. Gladly. Making trails. Gladly. For the trees. Making trails. For the trees. I'm game. Making trails. For the trees. I'm game. Making trails. I'm game. Making trails. I'm game. Making trails. Gladly. Making trails. For the trees. Gladly. Making trails. For the trees. Gladly. Making trails. Gladly. For the trees. Making trails. Aim dead center. Gladly. Making trails. Are we being invaded? Gladly. Making trails. I'm game. Making trails. For the trees. I'm game. Making trails. I'm game. Taste my spear. Gladly. For Kalimdor. Making trails. Gladly. For the trees. Gladly. For the trees. I'm game. Gladly. For the trees. I'm game. Making trails. For the trees. I'm game. For the trees. Making trails. Gladly. Making trails. I'm game. For the trees. Making trails. For the trees. I'm game. Aim dead center. Gladly. Making trails. Gladly. Making trails. For the trees. Gladly. I'm game. Making trails. I'm game. Gladly. I'm game. For the trees. Making trails. Gladly. Making trails. I'm game. Making trails. Gladly. For the trees. Making trails. For the trees. Gladly. Making trails. What is nature's call? Hi! I'm game. Making trails. What is nature's call? I'm game.
他不脏哦，他不脏哦。
What is it?
Is there trouble?
哇，直接膨胀在干嘛啊？
What is nature's call?
问，
I'm game.
问就是再死一次。
For the trees.
问，
Making trails.
1打3。
For the trees.
不他应该不知道。
For the trees. Making trails. For the trees. Gladly. The hunt is on. For the trees. Gladly. For the trees.
杀我啊
Making trails. Gladly. Making trails. For the trees. Gladly. Making trails. I'm game. Making trails. For the truth. I'm game. Making trails. Glad. Taste my spear. The hunt is on. Making trails. Glad. For the truth. I'm game. Gladly. Making trails. Gladly. Making trails. I'm game. For the truth. I'm game. For the truth. Making trails. For the truth. Glad. Making trails. For the truth. Making trails. I'm game. For the truth. Making trails. Gladly. Making trails. For the truth. I'm game. Making trails. Gladly. I'm game. Aim dead center. Making trails. For the truth. The great outdoors. I'm game. Is there trouble? Gladly.
好，那你那只就是远远的放陷阱，然后炸开还别人就好了。
我听不清楚你说话。
Are we being invaded?
对啊
Making
你那个
trails.
1200哎。
Is there trouble? I'm game. For the
你试一
truth.
下那个距离。
Making trails. For the truth. I'm game.
你要走这里。
Glad. For the
对
truth.
对对。
I'm game. Making trails. For the truth. Are we being invaded? Gladly. Making trails.
所以不会说
For the trees.
不会，这个要手动，所以你可以先买很多。
For the trees. Gladly.
本来就直接买，所以才叫。
For the trees.
就是类似民族。
What is nature's call?
对，
Making trails.
当做炸弹就好，只是它很滑。
I'm game. Gladly. Making trails. I'm game. For the trees. Gladly. I'm game. Making trails. Gladly. I'm game. For the trees. Making trails. Hi! Gladly. I'm game. Gladly. Making trails. I'm game. Making trails. Gladly. I'm game. Gladly. Making trails. Gladly. For the trees. I'm game. Making trails. For the trees. Making trails. Gladly. For the trees. Gladly. I'm game. Making trails. Gladly. Making trails. The hunt is on. For the trees. Gladly. For the trees. Making trails. I'm game. Taste my spear. For the trees. The hunt is on. Making trails. For power. Is there trouble? Taste my spear. For the trees. I'm game. Aim dead center. For the trees. I'm game. Making trails. Gladly. For the trees.
好补啊！
Making trails. The hunt is on. For the trees. Making trails. Gladly. I'm game. Gladly. For the trees. Gladly. For the trees. Making trails. I'm game. For the trees. Making trails. I'm game. Gladly. For the trees. I'm game.
Yes, me lord.
我刚是先晕的。
What is it?
Are we being invaded? Making trails. Gladly. For the trees. I'm game. Gladly. I'm game.
All right. More work. Off I go then.
Ah, the great outdoors.
What is it? Yes,
What
my
is
lord.
nature's call? Is there trouble? Gladly. For the trees. Gladly. Making trails. I'm game. What is nature's call? For the trees. Making trails. Gladly. For the trees. I'm game. Making trails. For the trees. Making trails. Gladly. For the trees. Gladly. For the trees. Making for the trees. Gladly. For the trees. I'm game. Gladly. For the trees. I'm game. Gladly. Making trails. For the trees. Making trails. I'm game. Making trails. For the trees. Is there trouble? Gladly. Making trails. For the trees. Making trails. I'm game. For the trees. Making trails. For the trees. I'm game. Making trails. For the trees. Gladly. Making trails. Gladly. Making trails. Gladly. For the trees. Gladly. For the trees. Gladly. Making trails. For the trees. I'm game. For the trees. Making trails. Gladly. Making trails. Gladly. For the trees. I'm game. For the trees. I'm game. For the trees. I'm game. Gladly. Making trails. For Palador. I'm game. For the trees. Making trails. I'm game. For the trees. Making trails. Hi! Taste my spear. The hunt is on. Take my spear.
Forward.
Let us make this call. I'm game for the truth. Gladly for the truth. Making trade. Gladly. I'm game. Gladly. I'm game.
Easy. Forward.
More gold is required. More gold is required. More gold is required.
Yes.
Hi. Gladly. Making trade. For the truth. Gladly. For the truth. Making trade. I'm game. For the truth. I'm game. Jet set. For the truth. Making trade. Let us make this call. For the truth. Gladly. I'm game.
这有谁啊？干！WWF 是谁啊？